We'll be starting in a minute or so. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our Dynamic Women to Women 2021 Vision webinar, the past, the present, and the future. So thank you for our panelists that are joining us today, our Women in Business panel that is going to share with us a little bit more their experiences in business and their leadership roles in their respective business too. So thank you, ladies, so much for being with us today.
Thank you for the invite.
Good morning. Yes, good morning. A wonderful day. Like I mentioned, I'm really excited to showcase Ms. Moreno. She's a part of our board of directors, our incoming chairwoman. So thank you so much, Monica, for being with us today. Stacy from Yuma, Arizona. Thank you so much for being part of our session and sharing with our viewers a little bit more about Nicholas Engineering and how you started in your business. And Ms. Gamboa, of course, here a local women business owner here along with her family, T-Dine Contractors. So thank you so much for being with us today. I know that our viewers are in for a treat to hear a little bit more about all of you and your businesses. So my name is Mary Helen. I'm the Women's Business Border Center Director, and this is our monthly session that we put together, and this is where we showcase and highlight women in business and leadership roles. So thank you so much for being here. I wanted to share with our viewers that our Women's Business Border Center is celebrating our 20th year servicing our small business community here in El Paso, Texas. And we're really proud to be part of their dream, their entrepreneurial dream, and really helping them to get them connected to resources and helping them along their way with their business. I just wanted to share with our viewers, our Hispanic Chamber, our main focus and our main mission is to support the growth of our economic growth here in our El Paso community. We pride ourselves in being the leading resource for the growth of small, minority, and women and veteran-owned businesses. And so that's really the track that we follow. And just know anyone that is here, our reach is just not for El Paso. We do have some programs that we can help small business owners either in the state of Texas or even nationally. So with the Women's Business Border Center, our main mission here is to support anyone with their entrepreneurial dream, regardless of their economic, education, financial, business background, their gender, race, or ethnicity. Really, the clients that come to see us, they're in their idea stages, and they're really wanting some assistance in helping them trying to formalize their idea, get their business off the ground. So that's what our main mission here is at the center. Of course, it's called the Women's Business Border Center. So we're here and we target women, and that's why we have this forum like today, where we showcase and highlight women in business. So like I mentioned, our Women's Business Border Center has started back in 2001. It is a funded program through the Small Business Administration. So there's a total of 136 women business centers throughout the country. So if we have women that are in other areas in the country, so just know, visit your SBA website so you can get more information about the women business centers closer to you in your area. We're one of the first women business border center, women business centers that are co-located in a minority chamber. So that was one big accomplishment for our center, that we're the only one that's housed with the minority chamber. And like I mentioned earlier, we do service women business owners throughout the country. So if you're interested in obtaining a small business certification and how to supply to the government, and you're a women-owned business, please feel free to reach out to us. We'll be happy to let you know what the process is and how to get you certified. And I just wanted to share some highlights that our Women's Business Center has been recognized for our efforts and what we do in the community. So I just wanted to give our contact information of the team here at the Women's Business Borders Center. My email is here. I do have my marketing specialist with us. She's behind the scenes. Her name is Ida Lee Tiscareño, and she's our marketing specialist. And we also have Tanya Villa. She's our program coordinator for our COVID project. So if there are any viewers that are currently in business, you have been negatively impacted by COVID, please reach out to our team here. We can definitely try to assist you. And this is Tanya's team, Daisy, Frida, and Victoria. So with that, those are just some quick highlights, a quick shout out of what we are doing here at the center and at our chamber. But now I have the pleasure to introduce you to you and share with you a little bit more about our panelists. So let me introduce you to our speakers. So Nancy Gamboa, she's the comptroller of a family-owned business, T-Dine Contractors, LLC, that is located on Goodyear here in the east side of El Paso, Texas. Ms. Gamboa is a graduate of UTEP with a degree in business management. She is a certified property manager and has been a controller for T-Dine Contractors, LLC since 2000. T-Dine is a family-owned business here in El Paso. Their primary services include plumbing and HVAC, and they're HVAC contractors with the close of to 85 employees. So that's awesome, Nancy. Some great employer, right? Here, a lot of jobs here that you are fulfilling here in El Paso. She's also a project coordinator and a managing member of GFA, a land development company. So with that, and also Ms. Gamboa has over 30 years in commercial development and property management. And just another little highlight, she also serves and gives back to her community and serves on the board of Western Heritage Bank. So thank you so much, Nancy, for being with us today.
Thank you all.
And our special guest from Yuma, Arizona, Ms. Guterres. She's the president and CEO of Nicholas Engineering Incorporated, and it's located in Yuma, Arizona. Ms. Guterres is a registered environmental engineer. She's a certified industrial hygienist and a licensed general contractor. My goodness, Ms. Guterres, very well accomplished. She began her professional career at Nicholas Engineering, and after receiving her bachelor's degree in environmental engineering, back in 1996, Nicholas did not offer environmental services. So Ms. Guterres introduced Nicholas to the field of environmental engineering. She started at the bottom with humble beginnings, learning the field, sampling, and site assessments. So over the years, she managed to advance the environmental department to the largest within the company, performing complex multi-million dollar projects across the United States. And Ms. Guterres has worked her way up from entry-level engineer to the president and CEO of the largest firm in Yuma, Arizona. So congratulations for all of your accomplishments, Stacy. That's amazing. Her firm provides civil and environmental engineering, architectural, geotechnical construction, construction management, and industrial hygiene. Her accomplishments prove that with hard work and clear goals, you can accomplish anything. So for sure, thank you so much, Stacy, for being here and taking some time out of your busy company to be with us.
Thank you.
And now, just to share with you a little bit more about Ms. Moreno, she's the president of Job Connection and the incoming chairwoman of the El Paso Hispanic Chamber Board of Directors for 2021. So thank you for your leadership, Monica, and all of the support that you give us.
Thank you.
I wanted to share with our audience is that she started out in her family-owned business here in El Paso back in 1994. She currently serves as the president and has the full responsibility for the strategic planning, development, and operations management, and main clientele of her business are industries such as manufacturing, industrial, financial, accounting, call center, and administrative personnel. She helped grow the family business to a 1 million billable hours in a 1-year time period. With the business was a franchise. It was recognized as the first out of 80 branches to achieve this goal, which is awesome. At its peak, and branch was billing 40,000 hours per week. In addition, the branch won Branch of the Year for 3 years. She has been committed to staffing because she finds the value of changing lives, which is so needed. I mean, just being that perfect match, right, Monica, and making sure that they're happy with their employer and the employer is happy with them.
That's right.
Ms. Moreno is committed to giving back to her community, and she's currently part of the EPHCC Board of Directors and our incoming chairwoman. So thank you so much. And aside from that, you also serve on the Western Heritage Bank Board too. So you're a very busy woman, Monica.
Try to stay busy.
Right. So with that, thank you, ladies, so much. And we'll go ahead and get started with our panel discussion. And so I just will start with you, Monica. So tell me a little bit more about yourself. I know I read some highlights about, your career and your business and how you've grown it and have achieved some great accomplishments. But what would you like our audience to know a little bit more about yourself?
Well, I have a beautiful daughter that lives in Dallas. I have been, I'm really ingrained in the family business. Blessed to have mentors within my own family that help me grow as well. And then the mentors along the way, I mean, you never stop learning. And just happy to serve on the boards as well and try to help other people in their business dreams or career dreams for that matter. And there's a lot of different avenues to get there and just got to pick one. And if that doesn't work,
most definitely. No, I totally agree with you. How about you, Stacy? What would you like to share?
Well, I just wanted to share that it kind of doesn't matter where you start. I grew up in El Centro, California, a very small border town. Neither of my parents were college graduates or college bound or anything like that. So I had very humble beginnings. I went to a junior college and didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I tended to be good in math and science. So, engineering was kind of a natural progression. And I just think if you set your mind to it and you have clear goals, you can accomplish whatever you want, whatever you set your mind to. And it doesn't matter if you don't have any experience in that. When I got my first job, my only job experience prior to that was I was a gymnastics coach through high school and college. So that's pretty hard to sit there in front of your, potential employer. And when they're talking about job experience and, especially in a male-dominated field, and you've taught people how to do cartwheels and backflips. So, it's not exactly, a straight path that you would see towards engineering, but it works, and you just gotta set your mind to it.
Wow, thank you for sharing, Stacy. That's awesome. What about you, Nancy? What would you like to share with our viewers a little bit more about you and your background?
Good morning. Well, our company started back in 1973 with my dad, Albert Gamboa Jr., and he has grown the company from just himself, where he started working at 7-Elevens, and now we operate under T-Dine Contractors, 85 employees. We have a family team. It's my brother, my two sisters. We all work well together, and so, you have a vision and you pursue that vision as you go through, and there's obstacles along the way, but you learn to overcome them. It's an ever-changing world, especially all of our industries, the construction industry, the development industry. But you learn as you go along. You find people that are willing to guide you and teach you, and don't be afraid. Just get in there and just do it. We all make mistakes, but we learn as we go.
And that is so true. I think that's what limits us so much, is that fear, and what direction should I take, and should I take this opportunity or not? And so, Nancy, what made you, or how did you come to the decision that you wanted to be part of your family-owned business and pursue that direction in your career?
So, fresh out of college, I worked for a large businessman here, large developer, commercial developer. And as the years went on, even that industry changed. And so he decided he was going to move his business from here to Arizona and grow, you know. And at that time, Dad was talking about different ideas and different experiences and things that were being presented in the development industry mostly. And so he said, you know what, maybe the time is right. And I thought, you know, Dad, the time is right. It's time for me to jump over and get started. So it was I had a little bit of the background, but it was a brand new field, and I'm still learning, even though I've been here for 19 years, but totally new field and a different role, you know, to be kind of in charge, you know, as project coordinator. So it was the time was just right.
Wow, awesome. That's great. And 19 years later, so that's wonderful. That's awesome. And Monica, I guess, you know, the same question. It did start off as a family-owned business, and what made you decide to, you know, go ahead and pursue that in that direction and support your family in their business, and then later on take over?
So really, my move started out of tragedy. My brother had taken his life, and that just rocked my world, well, all of our world in the family. And so, you know, just kind of start rethinking what's important. So about 6 months later, I started in the family business, went to school, or started going to UTEP full time and then working part time. And it was nice to be close to my mom and stepdad, be working with them every day. I think that was a comfort for all of us. But that's really how it started. And as far as pursuing my degree, my bachelor's degree, I really didn't think I needed school at all. But then I saw my mom graduate when she was 41. So that inspired me to go ahead and do that and follow her path. So that's how I got started in the business.
Wow, thank you for sharing, Monica.
Thank you. Yeah. But today, my mom is still working in the business, and my sister joined us a couple of years ago. So it's a family team also.
Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. And I'm really sorry to hear about your brother. But it's nice that you all came together and just pursued and made the business flourish a little bit. So thank you. Thank you for sharing. Stacy, so I know you were sharing earlier is that you were a gymnastics instructor and everything. So everything like that was very different. So how did you start dabbling into engineering and pursuing your education in that field and just really wanted to pursue that area in business?
Yeah, so once I, like I say, went to a junior college, then I transferred up to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where I got my bachelor's degree. And when after I got my bachelor's degree, my husband was actually stationed here he was stationed in Winter Haven, which is a tiny little town right outside of Yuma, Arizona. And so I really looked for a job here in Yuma, and this was my first and only job opportunity right out of college. So I began working there very entry level and just asked if they would, kind of take a chance on me. And I loved it, and I knew I needed to make it work. So like I say, I started that environmental division and just grew it. And then I continued to work my way up, managing the company. And then eventually I purchased the company in 2010, started there in 1996. So I started when I was like 4, because I can't possibly have worked there for almost 25 years now. So
the years just go by so fast, right?
Yes.
Wow. Well, yes. Congratulations on the purchase, and that's amazing. I mean, so you really know all the key elements to make it work, right?
It does.
And that's, I think, is what's key for business, so they could really understand all of the different elements in business and what it makes to work. What is key for you to adapt into the leadership role in your organization? So as you started off, maybe an entry level, and what are some of your leadership practices that you would like to share with our viewers today?
I would say that the way I did it was probably the best way to do it. Hard work is key. You really have to work hard to gain the respect of others. And when you start at the bottom, you're gaining the respect of your colleagues. And that's important really for your long-term growth, because as you move up, as you become their supervisor, and then now as I own the company, it's important that I've kind of earned their respect along the way. And it's not just hard work. In my particular career, it's pretty heavy in education. So I also, obviously I had to continue my education. I went on to get a master's degree, and then I had to continue getting my licensing. So I had to get my engineering license, which is an 8-hour exam that you sit for. I had to get my certified industrial hygienist license, which is another 8-hour exam. And then my general contracting for horizontal and vertical construction. So getting those licenses was important, but I still think the most important was just hard work every day, gaining the respect of your colleagues, because then they respect you as a supervisor, and you should. And if you gain their respect on your way up, you never will have to tell them, because I said so, because I'm your boss. They respect you and they want to do a good job for you, So.
Oh, most definitely. And no, I totally understand. And what about you, Nancy? What would you say? What are your best leadership practices within your role at the company?
So the ability, I think, to sit back, listening is key. Listening to your employees, listen to what they have to offer, getting together once a week, giving them the opportunity, open door policy, come in if you have a problem, come in, let's talk about it. Don't let it fester. So listening is I think is key. Communication. It's kind of like a relationship. You've got to keep those lines of communication open with all your employees, with your family. Working with your family as well. You have to talk, constantly talk. Respect. I know Stacy mentioned respect. I think respect is very important. To success as well.
Absolutely.
Sure. And Monica, I think it's very difficult because you have your own internal team, but then you work with a lot of people that are looking for employment. And so sometimes, they probably will confide different things in you. So what's your leadership style, and what best practices do you have?
To kick off on the other ladies, definitely respect is number one. Teamwork number two, because there are things that I can do well, but then there are things that I cannot do well. So we all work together as a team to get things done. And I think that's what works out real well for us. And as far as on a recruiter end of it, it's important because they have to get to know the people that they're sending out and be able to, if they're coming in for a check, recognize them and thank them for their hard work as they come in every week. And really, the staff really gets the job done out there. And then the temporary associates make us look good too. So it's important to get the right fit and get the right fit for them as well. That sometimes they may be on a temp assignment. Sometimes it's a lot of them now are temp to hire opportunities. So it's a good way for them to get their foot in the door. And so it works out well. And we have a lot of success stories, thankfully.
That's so good to hear. And I know all of you have been in the industry for many years. And as you can see, last year was probably one of the most trying times for everyone because of our pandemic, and we're still going through the pandemic. But what would you like to share in your industry that has changed? And what do you see in the future for it? Like what's coming in the future into your industry? And Monica, would you like to share?
Sure. Well, because of COVID, a lot of people are still afraid to get out there and work, but a lot of companies are taking social distancing measures, PPE, which is very important. Some companies will have gone virtual, which is great, but not everybody can, especially in manufacturing or warehouse environments. I think maybe some companies will keep the trend virtual if they don't want to pay for big office spaces, for example, in call centers. But I think as more people get vaccinated, we will get back to normal I'm hoping so. And then to that end, as far as people, their businesses, the Hispanic Chamber has the grant programs. I would encourage everybody to apply for those. It's true. It is free money from city, county government, federal government. Apply for those, do the legwork, get those in ASAP. Don't wait till the last minute. And then the same thing for PPP loans. People may think, oh, there's a catch. There is not a catch. Just follow all the rules. That will help you get through this difficult time.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, Monica. And Stacy, what would you say has changed in your area of business, and what has been the most challenging, and how have you overcome them? What do you see coming your way in your business?
Yeah, for us, working remotely has been relatively easy because we have a lot of engineers. Our engineering work has kind of continued without any real hiccups. I mean, you know, it was a big IT push at the beginning to make sure everybody was set up. Some of our field events have obviously been canceled due to COVID and things like that. So we've had to kind of transition those employees into other things. We've had to cross-train employees and things like that, so that they're ready for a different assignment, or, you know, maybe they always do this, but this is canceled because of COVID. So now they're learning how to do this, because in my area, it's really difficult to hire qualified engineers and qualified talent. So just because a project has stopped, you better find something else for them to do, because you can't lay people off in my industries. They're very, very hard to find. Especially when you have the right fit. So that's been the most challenging thing probably over the last year, is just adapting and overcoming, and, you know, cross-training and doing what we can to get through the slow times. Another department is usually busy. So that's kind of what we do, is we kind of have a lot of diversity within the company, a lot of cross-training.
Wow, and that seems to be the key, correct? I mean, just to get things accomplished and everything. Nancy, what would you like to share that has changed in your industry, and anything that you would like to share with our audience today?
So in the construction industry, it's been a little bit of a challenge, you know, that when the guys are out in the field, you know, working and hammering and running pipe, you tend not to think about sanitized stations, and you know, we have to, don't forget to wash your hands, don't forget to put your mask on. So, you know, the guys are climbing ladders. They're, you know, safety is always a priority, but we've also had to work with them and saying, okay, don't forget, you know, we have hand sanitizing stations set up. You know, you have to follow these rules, regulations, the protocol that has been set in place. And with construction, with the guys out there, you know, sometimes they tend to forget, or they tend to set it aside. So it's a constant reminder. It's been a while now, so they've gotten really good about following it. But that was a challenge. It's definitely different times for us all. But we're learning to work with it, adapt, and as Monica said, hopefully in the near future we'll get back to some normalcy.
No kidding. I mean, sometimes you have to remind yourself, like, oh my goodness, no, we're in a pandemic right now, and just take all of the safety precautions out there. But Nancy, so you work with the family, you're busy, you have a bunch of projects, but what motivates you? What motivates you at the end of the day, and keeps you going and makes you want to go to work? I think that's what a lot of us, sometimes we either dread, but it's really happy or nice to say that I'm happy to go to work and I'm happy to do what I'm doing. So what motivates you to be that way?
Well, you know, you wake up in the morning, it's a new day. Everything is different. Every day is different. Every day is a challenge. You know, you're ready. You know, you want to get to the office. And my family actually motivates me. You know, they're there. You know, Dad is here at 6:15 in the morning, and you know, I'm at home still, you know, putting my makeup on, thinking, you know, you better hurry up. Dad's already there. Or my brother's here at 6:30 with him. You know, they're getting the guys out to the field. They're organizing them. You know, we have challenges. You know, we make mistakes, as I said earlier. But you know, you learn from those mistakes, and that's motivating. You think, okay, maybe tomorrow I won't make that mistake because I've learned. And so it's, every day is new. That's what motivates me. Getting to the office and looking for something new. I can't wait. It's exciting. It's great. I love it.
And I bet the big accomplishment too is seeing the finished product, right? And seeing it completed and how it all just came together with all your team members and your
big
family.
Team. We have a big team.
Yeah. Awesome. So Stacy, what about you? I mean, even just with all those licenses that you have and maintaining, all of your staff and employment, keeping them employed, what motivates you and keeps you going every day?
Yeah, I would say it's a combination of things. I mean, for us, we're involved in projects that get built here in our community. So seeing those like, hey, we designed 24th Street, or we designed this project, or, we did that new city facility, that's always motivating. So winning new contracts always is very exciting for the whole team. For us, we have to, in order to win a contract, we have to put together big proposals, you know what I mean, that with all the flashy stuff that we've done in the past so we can win this next project. So winning a project is always very exciting for the whole team. So I love just watching my company grow and get into new services, win new projects. And then also another thing that's really rewarding for me is seeing kind of the junior engineers kind of come up and start developing and getting their licenses and working on projects on their own, and just being kind of the next leaders in our community. I find that very motivating.
Awesome. That's wonderful. What about you, Monica? What would you like to share? Because I know you're very busy with the boards that you serve on, your personal life, your business, but what motivates you and keeps you going every day?
For me, it would be my family as well that motivates me. Just trying to be a better person in general to everyone in my life, and winning new business, making sure everything's in place, and getting all the right people and the process moving for the clients is real exciting to us as well.
Awesome. No, of course, you're changing lives for sure and matching them to their ideal career path. But I also wanted to ask you, Monica, if you wouldn't mind sharing, who would you say your key mentors that have been in your life, that have influenced you and have just helped you to be the person that you are today?
Definitely my mom and my stepdad, for sure, because we always, ever since really I started my career, we were always kind of in the same career paths. They were in banking. I started in banking. So we'd all go to work and then we'd come after work and talk more work. And so the same thing with the staffing business, but that doesn't tire me at all because, just in talking to people, you learn more. My stepdad passed away, unfortunately, but he was very well respected. My mom is well respected. She comes in every day as well. Like Nancy said, they're at work and I'm still at home, so I need to get better about that. But no, I have a lot of key people in my life currently that are motivating, that I see their businesses growing and how they handle challenges without letting it get them down. Of course, sometimes they're going to be down, but if, the majority of time they're tackling the problem and getting it done. So I've been blessed with many mentors.
That is awesome. Thank you for sharing, Monica. And Nancy, who would you say your key influencers in life are, and who would you say they would be?
Well, I have to, there's a couple. My dad, for sure. You admire him, you admire his work ethic, his drive to succeed. His strength is contagious. His passion for his company, that's contagious. You walk in, he's so passionate, and sometimes you're like, oh, he tires me out. So he for sure is one of my mentors. Jerry Ayub, the commercial developer and business owner that I worked with for 19 years, he definitely taught me. I mean, he hired me fresh out of college. I knew nothing. Like Stacy said, I knew nothing. I never did anything. And he said, you know what? He said, I have to have somebody to work with me. He just, he threw me in there. He made you feel like you worked with him, never for him. So I definitely learned so much there. He mentored me into the commercial real estate industry, the development industry. I can't say enough about what I learned from Jerry Ayu. And of course, my mom, Esperanza Gamboa. She also was a part of the business from the very beginning, working with Dad as his secretary. And, it's hard to work, husband and wife, and then go home together. So she definitely, instilled the importance of family, instilled the importance of loyalty. And of course, that all spills over into a family-owned business, because you learn to work as a team. You learn to be loyal to each other. You learn that, we can get it done. We can get it done. So those are my three mentors, and I'm sure there's more. I just those are the top.
Awesome. No, of course, Nancy, and I like what you said about Mr. Ayub, that he made you feel that you were working with him, not for him. And so I think that's probably really key, right? With your employees.
For sure.
And what about you, Stacy? Who would you like to say that has been some big contributors to your career and your business?
Yeah, so one of mine is definitely Vaughn Nicholas. He's the founder of Nicholas Engineering. He was a great mentor to me. He was a mover and a shaker here in Yuma. I mean, he owned the first engineering firm here in town, and he took a chance on me at a time when it wasn't very easy. I think hiring me was upsetting to other engineers at the office, male engineers. But he took a chance, and I never forgot that opportunity I was given. So I always make it a point to, take a chance on others and give people opportunities when I can. But he was a great mentor, very passionate. And then I think the other mentor that, I don't know, in a roundabout way, is probably my dad, because he kind of taught me to have thick skin. And in my industry, you need to have very thick skin. I work in a very male-dominated field, and also it's kind of a good old boy network. And you really have to be able to recognize that, not everybody's comfortable working with women. And so, instead of just trying to always fit that round peg into the square hole, like, just assign it one of your male engineers to that, and don't take it personal. You know what I mean? If someone is going to be like oil and water, let it go. That's why you have a big, diverse team. I mean, we've got 48 employees, so some personality will be the right personality to fit with that client, and just let it roll off. Don't be thin-skinned about anything. I think that was really important for my career development as a female in my field.
Wow, that's very interesting to hear, right? And even in 2021, I mean, women still face that, and hopefully it could change. But there are so many ways to prioritize your daily task, and all forms of technology that are out there to help you do this. Talk to us about the difficulties to balance your personal life, if there's any, and what helps you balance it all, Stacy.
Oh, no problem balancing it all. No, I mean, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I've got kids. So, I mean, yeah, it's definitely always a balancing act. I mean, but I would say, as far as technology goes, I try to always stay on top of my emails. I know some people, I see their inbox and there's like thousands of emails. I don't know how you could ever get anything done. What did you read? What did you not read? So I try to treat emails specifically like text messages. I handle them right when they come in, or at least that day. And again, I get hundreds of emails a day. A lot of them are junk. Some need to be addressed, but a lot of them are very important. And some of them could be that next project or that next client relationship. So technology-wise, I just try to always stay on top of my emails. You always have, while you're waiting, for your phone call to start, you've got 2 minutes to, go through and check emails. I've been doing it while I've been on this once in a while. That's what I do.
I'm happy you did, Stacy, because that's how you responded to us.
Yeah, I responded. I didn't know you, but I responded.
Thank you so much for sharing, Stacy. And what about you, Nancy? How do you take care of balancing it all? And do you use any technology to help you do that? What are your tricks?
there's flexibility in owning your own business, a little bit of flexibility, but you have to be real careful not to let your personal overlap into your business, overlap into the success of your business. So you have to be, super, super disciplined about that. My big thing to try to stay organized on top of things is make a list. I have so many lists. Well, actually, you shouldn't say so many. You should have one list. And try to remember, and this I learned from my aunt. She used to work here as well, and she retired. But she used to say, you know what, if something comes in and it's going to take me 2 minutes, you may as well get it done and get it off your desk so that you can get on to something that's going to take you a little longer, because, it's quick. So you make your lists. I keep a calendar. I used to try to keep a calendar for, doctor's visits and dental visits, things like that, separate from your business calendar. But I learned, that doesn't work, because all of a sudden you have a meeting. Oh no, I had a dentist appointment. So you have got to keep just one calendar. Don't keep 2 calendars. So that's kind of how I do it. Lists, always write it down. I write a lot of things down.
No, I agree with you too, because sometimes it just happens, you might forget it. And at least if you jot it down, you can always reference back.
For sure.
And what about you, Monica? I know you're very busy, like we mentioned, with everything that you do, and you have your personal life, your family, your children. How do you balance it all?
I really just keep work at work, as far as when I try to keep everything confined within those hours. Sometimes you are answering emails after hours if need be. But I'm like Nancy, I have to write everything down or it doesn't get done. And then also the biggest thing, I used to keep a paper calendar, and I kept missing appointments. And my friend was like, you got to write it in your electronic calendar. So I finally started doing that. That helps me. But of course, if I forget to do it, then sometimes I might miss something. But I try to be really good about putting everything in the Outlook calendar. And Nancy's right, keep business and personal in that one calendar.
Most definitely, right? And the alerts always help, like those
Yes.
reminders, those are just key. But I guess, since you're in a field, Monica, of trying to help people pursue business, and it's such a difficult time, how have you managed to keep your business going during these unprecedented times? And what are the obstacles and how have you overcome them?
So definitely the fear a lot of people have getting out to work. There are a lot of jobs right now. So anybody looking, I'd encourage you to keep at your job search. Some are willing to work remote. So a lot of the interviews are happening remotely now, which I think might start being the new norm, even after COVID passes. But technology really has helped us keep pushing through. We never shut down our office because we are considered essential personnel because of some of our clients. But yes, when COVID first happened, man, you started seeing companies drop and the panic, like, oh my God, what are we going to do? But then you find other businesses that are growing during these pandemic times. And that's where, thankfully, we're able to pick up on business there.
Wow, that's really good to know, though, that there's a lot of positions available and open. And I would imagine that they're all in different ranges, right, Monica? Like from entry level to maybe mid and senior management, maybe?
Definitely. I've got 2 director positions now. There's a lot of call center work. Some of it is on site. Some of it is remote. Admin positions, accounting businesses are starting to pick up. So a lot of construction is busy. So there is a lot of out there in a lot of different ranges.
Awesome. And what about you, Stacey? How have you kept your business going during this difficult time? And of course, keeping your employees comfortable and keeping them motivated. How have you helped them to do that?
Yeah, we've just really allowed flexibility. Some people are coming into the office when they need to, but our office is basically closed. And we are just working remotely, and we're having to do Zoom calls and, weekly calls. We probably talk to each other more now about work than we ever have, but you don't have all the water cooler talk and, you know, the Monday morning quarterback talk and all that. But, you know, you do talk about work a lot. You have to. So we actually have also been growing during this pandemic. We've actually hired people. We're looking for another civil engineer and another civil engineering draftsman now, and a construction manager. So we kind of haven't missed a beat during the pandemic. We've stayed on top of all of our submitting proposals and things like that. We've just basically adapted and done it in a different way.
Wow, that's great. It's great to hear, and congratulations that you're still, you know, pursuing business and being awarded business. So that's really awesome. What about you, Nancy? What would you say has been the most difficult, and how have you been able to persevere in business?
I'll have to say, in the construction industry, our industry, the effects were minimum. We were able to keep our employees, and we were blessed. Part of being able to keep them on was the opportunity to apply for the PPP loan. That was a blessing, and it was a blessing to be able to keep our guys employed, especially during this, you know, kind of a bleak time for many. It kept them motivated. The challenge again was adapting to the protocol, the regulations, and you know, reminding the guys this is the way it is now. You know, it may not be this way forever, but for right now, this is how we have to make it work. And just reminding them, keep the team motivated. We had to adapt. You know, you just learn to adapt to the protocol.
Sure. And Nancy, would you mind sharing some advice to other women that are wanting to pursue their own business? You are in a very male-dominated field. And you know, thankfully, you know, we get to meet a lot of different people through the Women's Center. And we see a lot of people wanting to either join forces with other friends or family in business. So what kind of advice would you give them if they're wanting to pursue a family-owned business or in a male-dominated field?
So in a family business, it poses unique challenges. You know, not only are you together every day at work, but on the weekends, I'm not sure if it works the same with Monica, but on the weekends, you know, we're together. You know, my sisters and I, you know, we bowl. So we're together all weekend, all the time, you know. I kind of stopped a little bit during these times. So it does pose unique challenges to be in a family-owned business, but you learn to, everybody has a role, and everybody's role is important. And what I may not be good at, you know, someone else is good at. Monica mentioned that, you know, earlier. So you take advantage of everybody's skills, and you work together. So then the other thing is you keep pressing forward. You know, this might not work today, but it may work tomorrow. As far as being in a male-dominated field, it is difficult sometimes. And Stacy said that earlier. You know, you earn the respect of your colleagues, and the more you talk to them, and the more you entertain their ideas, and you give them your ideas, you know, they learn to respect you. And you know, there may be a day, as Stacy said, you know what, it's not working. We're not on the same page. So at that point, you think, you know, thankfully I have a brother, so it's not just all sisters. So then you bring him in, you know, and so you just kind of learn to adapt and bring in the right personality, and it works.
Well, that's awesome. And Stacy, I would like to turn it over to you because you are in a very male-dominated field. But what advice would you give to other women that are wanting to pursue their own entrepreneurial dream and they've maybe encountered this situation? What kind of advice would you give them? I know you said before, let it roll off, but what else would you say? Of advice?
Well, before you can be at the position where you can let it roll off, you've really got to have a clear plan. And I would just say, you know, if you want to own your own business, if you want to meet your career goals, you really have to have faith in yourself. You've got to have those clear goals. You've got to put in the hard work, and you cannot give up. Like for me at 18 years old, I kind of decided to go all in and bet on myself. I took out a student loan, and I dedicated 5 years of my life as a broke college student. I moved away from my husband. Well, he was my fiance at the time, but that wasn't easy. I moved away and I kind of sacrificed all my comforts, and I bet that, in the end it would be worth it. And so looking back now, it's easy to say, oh yeah, it was all worth the sacrifice. But trust me, there were many days where I questioned myself. I wasn't the smartest student. I'm not necessarily the best engineer, but I had a clear goal, and I just would not give up. I was definitely determined to succeed. And I guess my closing advice would be, sometimes you can think of limitations out there can be disguised as excuses. I would say, like don't let those limitations take over you. Don't have excuses. Just do what you got to do anyways, and be determined to succeed. And you can.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Stacy. And it's so true. What about you, Monica? What would you like to say and give words of advice to anyone that's wanting maybe to join forces with their family and start a business? Or what kind of advice would you like to give?
I guess as far as somebody going into a family business is not a good mix for everyone. So if you find it's not working, don't torture yourself. Find something else to do. I've been blessed that, I've been blessed in that area where we all gelled and got along. But as far as someone starting their business, I would say take advantage of all the free resources out there, certifications through the chamber. But remember, in the end, you have to, or the person doing it has to do the legwork. Here's the information. Now get it done. And then also, I don't know, I just thought of something where I keep your network flowing, because you never know who can introduce you to somebody else that may be in a position to help you. And then this one saying came to my mind, and I don't know who said it, but it says, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to find a different room. So just keep looking for people that are smarter and have done better than you, and follow their path as well.
Wow, that's a great advice, Monica, most definitely. And thank you for sharing. But what are your specific plans? We can't believe we're already ending almost January, but what are your plans and goals for your business in 2021 and yourself?
As far as the business, just to grow it 20%. We do have a call center side of the business, so I'd like to at least bring on one additional client. And then for myself, just to keep investing in myself personally, professionally. I'm big into Tony Robbins, motivational speakers, and I've gone to seminars in the past. Of course, we can't do them now. And for me, a virtual would not work because I wouldn't pay attention. But I hope to get back to live seminars maybe next year.
No, I'm the same way, Monica. I love in person. I don't know, it's different. You get to learn and talk to people, easily. But no, thank you for sharing. Nancy, what would you say your plans for the family-owned businesses, for the business and you personally? What are your plans for 2021?
Well, we were going to continue to look for those bid opportunities that present themselves out there, and continue to grow the business, and hopefully continue to make Dad proud. And 1973, that's a lot of years, and we have big shoes to fill. So continue to educate ourselves. There's always something new to learn out there. I have the Serenity prayer actually posted here in my office, and I walk in every morning and I look at that Serenity prayer and I pray every day, and that is a big help, and it's a big inspiration, because there may be something that you feel is just too big for you. I just can't do it. You look, you pray the Serenity prayer, you walk away and you come back and you realize, the solution's sitting right there in front of me. And it's just, that is a big help for me, and to continue to succeed.
Awesome, Nancy. I love that prayer. My little cousin is named Serenity, actually.
Beautiful.
And my uncle named her after the prayer. So it's a beautiful prayer. Awesome. Stacy, so what are your plans for yourself, your business for 2021?
For my business is just really to continue to grow my business, continue to win new contracts, and adapt as the market changes. I always have to look at where federal spending is going to go. It looks like it's going to go to a big infrastructure package. So being on top of that, reaching out to my municipal clients and things like that. It's a little harder to do during COVID. You can't meet in person. You can't go to conferences and things like that where you can market yourself. So just coming up with new ways to do that, whether it's Zoom for now or until we can, get out there and meet face to face. But yeah, really just to continue to grow my business and adapt to however the market changes.
Awesome, Stacy. So for our last question for our discussion before we go into our Q&A from our viewers, in closing, what are your final words and thoughts? I know it's a very difficult time for many in their personal lives, their business. What words of encouragement or what would you like to tell them today in closing?
I would just say, kind of like I said before, really just set clear goals and invest in yourself, bet on yourself, and don't let anything get in the way of those goals. You can see through it, you can make it to the end, and don't let any excuses get in the way.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And Nancy, your final words that you would like to share with our audience today, what would you like to say?
Yeah, don't forget, you always have the power within you. You can rise up to the top with the hard work, with the dedication, commitment. Have that vision and have that vision in sight. Have a plan. Take advantage of the different opportunities that are presented before you with the Women to Women, which you mentioned earlier, the SBA. There are Paso Community College. There are a lot of help out there for you to get started. Just, have that vision, have that plan, and go for it,
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. And what about you, Monica? What final words would you like to give to our viewers and our audience today?
I guess just the final piece would be just keep pushing through. We will get through this. Business processes may change, but business will still get done in the end. And don't be afraid just to make a jump. Sometimes you just got to go out there and do it. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Just get going on it.
Hey, thank you so much, ladies. We do have some questions that came in from our viewers, and it is asking, how do you bring in a new business? So I guess the first step, what would you say to take those steps in a new business? I guess, what were your first new steps? How would you make it happen? Would it just go straight to registering it? Would you go maybe put your plan on paper? What would you recommend as the first step of starting in a new business? Who would like to share or answer that question?
Well, I would say you need to start out with a business plan. You really need to look at, okay, what am I going to provide? What does the market bear? What do we charge for that? What do my employees need to make to supply that service? You really need to evaluate your market and make sure that it's a solid business plan. Being your own boss sounds glamorous, but sometimes you're the one taking out the trash and, doing all that too. So, you really want to make sure that this business plan makes sense. What are you selling? Does anyone want to buy it? Who will be your clients? Who will be your customers? And then make sure that you can do that process and make a little money along the way to be able to pay your employees and have infrastructure and growth. I don't know, that's my 2 cents.
Sure. No, and I just wanted to share and plug in, the Women's Center, but those are exactly the type of services
Yes.
And I think it's really hard for us to explain because you can't really see it until you really need the service and you really are looking for it. But that's exactly what the Women's Center does. We help you develop the business plan, put some startup costs together, and just really help you get your idea formalized. Monica, Nancy, would you all like to share anything for that participant that asked that question?
Sure. In your business plan, don't forget to include your financial plan, your budget figures. Don't forget also, you always have to have your break-even point. So, and write it all down, and then go forth. Like I said, then you go to the Women's Center after you've got your development plan, your business plan, and then they'll guide you. They'll guide you to the next step.
Thank you, Nancy. And Monica, anything that you would like to share?
No, just what the ladies have to say about the business plan. Your break-even point's huge. If you can, I mean, just depending on the type of business you're going to open up. If it's service, it would be low capital. Other businesses are very high or very capital intensive. So especially in those, you really need to have a customer for what you're selling.
Most definitely. Thank you. Some really good advice. And our last question, actually, Stacy, is directed to you. Our university here in El Paso, University of Texas at El Paso, we're known for our engineering program here at our college. But the participant is asking where could they send their resumes, as much as we want to keep our talent here in El Paso. But, is there any opportunities, and where can they send their resume?
Like I say, we're looking for a civil engineer right now. So you can send your resume to stacyg@neiaw.com. And that's just my name, stacyg@neiaw.com.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, ladies. We're already out of time. It's 11 o'clock, and I really want to thank all of you, Monica, Nancy, Stacy, for being with us, sharing all of your expertise, your knowledge with our viewers today. And you all are such a powerhouse of women, a leading example for other women. And I just wish you all the blessings in 2021. And I hope you have a very wonderful year. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for inviting us. It's an honor.
Thank you. And at this time, I just wanted to share and announce maybe some other sessions that we're having today that are coming up. For our viewers, I wanted to share with you, we are having our Curbstone chats with Spectrum Reach. Please reach out to us. It will be happening actually today in the afternoon at 2 p.m. If you're needing some marketing advice, please, Spectrum Reach is a member with us, and they'll provide you some free guidance in marketing. We also know, like the ladies had mentioned earlier, certain programs have helped them to keep their employees employed during this time, which is the PPP program. We actually have our other board member, Ryan McGrath from Wells Fargo, that will go ahead and share with you all of that key information at our Cash, Coin, and Conversation webinar series. And that will be taking place today at 3 o'clock. So anyone that would like to join, or please share the information with anyone else. But thank you again, ladies, for being with us and sharing everything that you have to share about business. So thank you so much. You all have a wonderful 2021.
You all too.